explaining every single GTA game in one video. Don't miss it, mate. Grove Street families. Alright, let's kick it off with the Grove Street families. These guys are the OGs of San Andreas, the green-clad warriors of the streets. If you've played GTA San Andreas, you know these are the homies you roll with, led by the Johnson brothers, CJ and Sweet. The families aren't just any gang. They're a tight-knit community bound by loyalty and a shared history. These guys grew up together, fought together, and they'll die for each other if it comes down to it. They control the Grove Street cul-de-sac and parts of Ganton, fighting tooth and nail to keep their turf clean from the drug trade that's ravaging other hoods. What makes the families stand out is their code. Unlike some other gangs, they're not about pushing drugs or exploiting their own community. They're more like vigilantes, trying to protect their hood from outside threats. It's all about respect, family, and keeping it real. But don't get it twisted. Just because they've got principles doesn't mean they're soft. The families can throw down with the best of them. Whether it's drive-bys, turf wars, or all-out street brawls, these guys know how to handle themselves. They're the underdogs with heart, always fighting against the odds to keep their slice of Los Santos green and proud. Ballas. Now, let's flip the script and talk about the Ballas. If the families are the heroes of this story, the Ballas are the arch-nemesis. These purple-wearing gangsters are the thorn in Grove Street's side, always pushing in on their turf and stirring up trouble. The Ballas are all about that paper, and they don't care who they have to step on to get it. Unlike the families, these guys are deep into the drug trade, slinging dope and causing all sorts of havoc in the process. They control several territories in Los Santos, including Glen Park and Idlewood, and they're always looking to expand. What makes the Ballas dangerous is their ruthlessness. These guys don't play by any rules except their own. They're not above drive-by shootings, assassinations, or any other dirty tactics to get what they want. In the hood, the color purple is like a warning sign. Trouble's coming, and it's wearing Ballas colors. But here's the thing about the Ballas. They're not just mindless thugs. They're organized, they're strategic, and they know how to play the long game. They've got connections, they've got numbers, and they've got ambition. In the world of GTA, the Ballas are the villains you love to hate, the constant thorn in CJ's side, and a force to be reckoned with on the streets of Los Santos. Los Santos Vagos. Alright, now let's talk about the wild cards of Los Santos. The Vagos. These yellow bandana-wearing Vatos Loco bring that Latino heat to the streets, and boy do they bring it in style. The Vagos are like the chameleons of the Los Santos gang scene. One minute they're beefing with the families, the next they're going toe-to-toe with the Ballas. They're unpredictable, they're fierce, and they're always looking to come out on top, no matter who they have to step on to get there. What sets the Vagos apart is their reputation for being absolutely loco. These guys aren't afraid to get their hands dirty, and they've got a flair for the dramatic. Whether it's high-speed chases through the barrio or explosive shootouts in the streets, the Vagos know how to make a scene. But still, the Vagos are no joke when it comes to business. They've got their fingers in all sorts of pies, from drug trafficking to arms dealing. In their turf, which includes parts of Las Colinas and Los Flores, the Vagos call the shots. Cross them at your own risk, because these guys have long memories and short tempers. Barrios Los Aztecas. Now, let's cruise over to the other side of Los Santos and check out the Barrios Los Aztecas. These blue-clad gangsters bring a whole different flavor to the gang scene, repping their Mexican-American pride hard. The Aztecas are all about that old-school gang life. They're deeply rooted in their community, with strong ties to their Mexican heritage. You'll find them holding down the fort in El Corona and Little Mexico, protecting their barrios with a fierce loyalty that's hard to match. What makes the Aztecas interesting is their code of honor. These guys aren't just about making money or causing chaos. They've got principles. They're known for protecting their own, standing up against police brutality, and even providing for families in their neighborhoods. It's like they're playing the role of modern-day Robin Hoods, albeit with a lot more gunfights and less tights. They're still a gang, and they're not afraid to get their hands dirty when it comes to protecting their interests. They've got beef with the Vagos and the other Hispanic gangs in Los Santos, and they're always ready to throw down to defend their turf and their honor. Leone family. Switching gears now, let's talk about the Leone family. If you've played GTA 3 or Liberty City Stories, you know these guys are the real deal when it comes to organized crime. We're not talking street gangs anymore. This is La Cosa Nostra, the Mafia, the big leagues. The Leones are old-school gangsters, all about tradition, respect, and family. And by family, I mean family with a capital F. Led by the temperamental Don Salvatore Leone, these guys run their operation like a well-oiled machine. They've got their fingers in everything from protection rackets to union control, all centered around their home turf in St. Mark's. They got that drip ready too. These aren't your average street thugs in baggy clothes. We're talking suits, fedoras, and classic cars. They bring a touch of class to their criminal activities, harking back to the golden age of the Mafia. But don't let the fancy suits fool you. The Leones are as ruthless as they come. Cross them, and you might find yourself taking a long walk off a short pier with some new concrete shoes. They're always locked in a power struggle with the other families of Liberty City, playing a deadly game of chess where the pawns are real people and the stakes are life and death. Yakuza. These guys bring a whole different flavor to the criminal underworld of GTA, straight from the land of the rising sun. The Yakuza in GTA are like something out of a classic Japanese crime film. They're all about honor, discipline, and tradition, but with a heavy dose of modern criminal enterprise thrown in. You'll find them primarily in GTA 3 and Liberty City stories, running their operations out of Torrington in Staunton Island. What makes the Yakuza stand out is their unique blend of old and new. On one hand, you've got the traditional aspects, the full-body tattoos, the strict hierarchy, the code of loyalty. On the other, you've got their involvement in high-tech crime, from casino operations to weapons smuggling. These guys are as comfortable with a katana as they are with a keyboard. The Yakuza bring a sense of exoticism to the GTA universe. They're the outsiders, the foreign element in the melting pot of Liberty City's criminal underworld. But don't mistake their foreign status for weakness. The Yakuza are a force to be reckoned with, always ready to protect their interests with a mix of ancient martial arts and modern firepower. Southside Hoods. These guys are the OGs of the projects, holding it down in the mean streets of Shoreside Vale. The Hoods are split into two sets, the Red Jacks and the Purple Nines. Now, you might think having two crews under one banner would make them stronger, but it's more like having a constant civil war. These guys are as likely to be beefing with each other as they are with other gangs. What makes the Southside Hoods stand out is their true-to-the-streets vibe. These aren't your organized crime types with their fancy suits and hidden agendas. Nah, the Hoods are all about that raw, unfiltered street life. They're into all sorts of street-level crime, from muggings to drug dealing, keeping it real in the grittiest sense of the word. When push comes to shove, and an outside threat comes knocking, the Red Jacks and Purple Nines know how to put aside their differences and unite. In their turf, which covers most of Wichita Gardens, they're the law. Cross them, and you might find yourself on the wrong end of a street brawl or a drive-by. The Triads. Now let's talk about the Triads. These guys bring that Hong Kong action movie vibe to the streets of Liberty City and San Fierro. The Triads are all about that ancient Chinese organized crime life, but with a modern twist. They've got a foot in traditional rackets like protection and gambling, but they're not afraid to branch out into more contemporary crimes. In Liberty City, you'll find them running the show in Chinatown, while in San Fierro, they've got Chinatown and Calton Heights on lock. What sets the Triads apart is their sense of style and efficiency. These aren't your average street thugs. They operate with a level of precision that's almost surgical. Whether it's a carefully planned assassination or a large-scale smuggling operation, the Triads execute their crimes with a flair that's part art, part science. But when it comes to protecting their interests, the Triads can be as brutal as they come. They're known for their swift and often creative retribution against anyone who crosses them. Versetti Gang. Let's take a trip back to the 80s and talk about the Versetti Gang. If you've played Vice City, you know these guys are all about that sun, fun, and gun life. Led by the charismatic and slightly unhinged Tommy Versetti, this gang is less of a traditional criminal organization and more of a force of nature. They started from the bottom, with Tommy fresh out of prison, and worked their way up to the top of Vice City's criminal food chain. They're not tied down by tradition or old-school rules. Under Tommy's leadership, they're willing to try anything once if it means more power and more money. From drug running to film production of the adult variety, real estate to protection rackets, the Versetti Gang has their fingers in every pie in Vice City. But the real star of the show is Tommy himself. With his Hawaiian shirts, quick temper, and quicker trigger finger, He's the embodiment of the 80s excess that defines Vice City. The Versetti Gang might not have the history of the Mafia or the discipline of the Yakuza, but what they lack in tradition, they make up for in sheer audacity and firepower. Cuban Gang. Now, let's salsa our way over to the Cuban Gang. These guys bring the heat to Little Havana in Vice City, and I'm not just talking about the weather. The Cuban Gang is all about that revolution in spirit. Led by the charismatic Humberto Robina, these guys see themselves as soldiers in an ongoing war, fighting for their piece of the American dream. They might be far from their homeland, but they've brought all that passion and fire with them to the streets of Vice City. These aren't just criminals, they're a family, bound together by shared history and culture. They look out for their own, protecting the Cuban community in Little Havana, while also running their less-than-legal operations. Still, the Cuban Gang knows how to throw down. They're in a constant turf war with the Haitians, and they're not afraid to get their hands dirty. Whether it's high-speed boat chases or intense shootouts in the streets, the Cubans bring that revolutionary zeal to everything they do. Haitian Gang. Last but not least, let's talk about the Haitian Gang. These guys are the flip side of the coin in Vice City's immigrant crime scene, holding down Little Haiti with a mix of old-world mysticism and new-world firepower. The Haitian Gang is all about that blend of voodoo and violence. Led by the mysterious Auntie Poulet, they've got a reputation for being unpredictable and more than a little bit scary. They're deep into the drug trade, specializing in a unique brand of mind-altering substances that play into their mystical image. What makes the Haitian Gang stand out is their use of fear and superstition as weapons. They lean hard into the voodoo angle, using it to intimidate rivals and maintain control over their turf. It's not uncommon to see rival gang members steering clear of Little Haiti, not just because of the Haitians' firepower, but because of their reputation for curses and dark magic. But it's not all smoke and mirrors with the Haitian Gang. When push comes to shove, they're as tough and ruthless as any other gang in Vice City. They're locked in a bitter rivalry with the Cuban Gang, and this conflict often spills out into the streets in explosive ways. In the neon-soaked nights of Vice City, the Haitian Gang adds a touch of dark mystery to the criminal underworld. Diaz Gang. Picture this. Miami Vice meets Scarface, and you've got the Diaz Gang. Operating out of the sun-soaked streets of Vice City, these guys are all about living large and taking no prisoners. Led by the volatile Ricardo Diaz, this outfit runs their operation like a corporate empire. If corporations were into drug trafficking and extreme violence, Diaz himself is a contradiction. A short man with a massive ego, a businessman with the temper of a volcano. His unpredictable nature keeps everyone on their toes, from his own men to rival gangs. The Diaz Gang's headquarters, a sprawling mansion on Starfish Island, is a testament to their success and excess. It's part fortress, part party central, where business deals and extravagant soirees happen in equal measure. Their operations span from drug importation to arms dealing, always conducted with a flair for the dramatic. What truly sets the Diaz Gang apart is their embrace of the 80s Miami aesthetic. They're as much about style as they are about substance, rolling in flashy cars, sporting pastel suits, and always ready for a night at the Malibu Club. In the neon-drenched world of Vice City, the Diaz Gang embodies the glitz, glamour, and grit of the criminal high life. The Lost MC. Roaring engines, leather jackets, and a whole lot of attitude. That's the Lost MC in a nutshell. These guys bring the outlaw biker lifestyle to the streets of Liberty City and beyond. The Lost aren't just a gang, they're a brotherhood. Bound by their love for the open road and disdain for authority, these guys live by their own code. Their clubhouse isn't just a base of operations, it's a second home, a place where loyalty is forged in engine grease and beer. Their leader, Johnny Klebitz, the Lost MC, dabbles in everything from drug trafficking to arms dealing. But for them, it's not just about the money, it's about the lifestyle. They're the last of a dying breed, holding on to their freedom in a world that's increasingly trying to box them in. The Lost MC's presence is felt wherever they ride. The roar of their bikes is enough to clear the streets, and their patches command respect, or fear, from Alderney to Los Santos. In the world of GTA, the Lost MC represents that timeless rebel spirit, always ready to raise hell and leave tire marks on the face of society. ONeal Brothers. Head out to the Blaine County boonies, and you'll find the ONeal Brothers. These guys are like if you took a hillbilly stereotype and gave it a meth lab and some serious firepower. The O'Neals are a family business in the truest sense. Led by Elwood O'Neal, this clan of backwoods boys has their fingers in all sorts of illegal pies, from drug manufacturing to weapons trafficking. They might come off as simple country folk, but underestimating them would be a grave mistake. What makes the ONeal Brothers stand out is their home field advantage. They know every nook and cranny of the San Andreas countryside, using the terrain to their advantage in everything from growing weed to evading the law. Their compound is a fortress, part farm, part meth lab, all danger. Angels of Death, MC. If the Lost MC are the anti-heroes of the biker world, the Angels of Death are the full-on villains. These guys cruise the streets of Liberty City, leaving a trail of chaos in their wake. The Angels of Death take the outlaw biker lifestyle to the extreme. They're not content with just breaking the law. They want to shatter it into a million pieces. Their clubhouse isn't just a hangout, it's a den of iniquity where only the toughest survive. Unlike some of the more business-oriented gangs, the Angels of Death are all about the thrill. Sure, they're into drug trafficking and gun running, but for them, the real rush comes from the violence and mayhem they create. They're the chaos agents of Liberty City's criminal underworld, always ready to upset the delicate balance for the sheer fun of it. Diablos. Last but not least, let's talk about the Diablos. These guys bring the heat to the streets of Liberty City with a distinctly Puerto Rican flavor. Led by the ambitious El Burro, the Diablos carved out their turf in Hepburn Heights, turning the neighborhood into their own little slice of San Juan. They're not just another street gang. They're a community within a community, bound together by shared heritage and a drive to claim their piece of the American dream, by any means necessary. The Diablos' operations run the gamut from protection rackets to car theft rings. They've got a particular fondness for motorcycles, often seen tearing through the streets on their choppers. This love for two-wheeled mayhem puts them in constant conflict with other bike-loving gangs like the Leon family's bikers. What sets the Diablos apart is their fierce pride in their Puerto Rican identity. Everything they do, from their crimes to their parties, is infused with their cultural heritage. In the melting pot of Liberty City's criminal underworld, the Diablos stand out as a group that refuses to assimilate, instead forcing the city to adapt to them. And we are done. GTA has a lot of gangs. I mean, this series is about gangsters. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Till then, take care and have a nice day.